Yeah, Lamar Jackson will stop negotiations with Ravens once the season starts.
Yeah, so we knew that it was trending this way, right?
I mean, it could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing. Obviously, it can be a good thing because, you know, he doesn't have to take all those questions about the negotiation and things like that. And it can be a bad thing because, he can be having a good year and they might want to get something done early, but, they're going to have to wait to the end of the year.
So you think with this, right, with them waiting for the end of the year, obviously Lamar is now playing on that 5th-year contract that if they let this bad boy expire, then he's just going to test free agency and Lamar Jackson is free to go anywhere. It's rare that you see that in a franchise, former MVP level quarterback. Super rare.
It's kind of smart on his part too because it's he's just betting on himself. Honestly, I think he's just betting on himself. He go out there and, they go to the playoffs again and, he has a good year and with a bunch of rushing yards and passing yards and they don't have nothing to give him by the end of that. Somebody's going to pay him, I don't know if it's going to be $200 million.
Right.
But he's going to get, 150 plus for sure from somebody.
Yeah, and I think I look at this situation and I'm like, when you look at Lamar's outlook for 2022, last year the Ravens just sucked, man. They were so injury riddled that it wasn't even funny. But now they get Ronnie Staley back on that offensive line. They get a bunch of defensive pieces back. Still working back all throughout the season, just because some of those guys went down so late. Marcus Peters will be back. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Rashad Bateman is going to have a full year with the receivers. So I do think that could look well. But me, just as like a pessimist by nature, I look at this and I'm like, man, but what if it doesn't go well? What if it's the same Lamar Jackson that we saw at the back half of 2021 where he struggles and he doesn't look that good? Then you're looking at another Baker Mayfield situation where the guy played himself out of an absolute ton of cash, right?
Yeah, kind of. But at the same time, I see the Lamar situation kind of like the Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers situation where they haven't really put any dominant receivers out there in front of him for him to target.
Yep.
They have always been centered around the ground and pound, running the ball, which he can do. But at the same time, if you mix that in with, some top receivers, you got a different ball game.
You think they're a little worried possibly in some of these negotiations? Obviously, we don't know exactly what's going on behind closed doors, but I have to wonder if they are so concerned about that ground and pound game that maybe the dude has just taken a lot of hits over the last 4 years, now going to be 5 years, playing that quasi, people hate when he's called a running back, but let's be real, he's taken hits like a running back throughout the first 4 years of his career. His season ended last year at the hands of the Cleveland Browns on a tackle where he was scrambling for his life outside the pocket. So I don't know. I think maybe, I don't want to say we could be seeing the end of Lamar Jackson in the AFC North, but I truly think it's a possibility just because that contract is up and the Ravens could be gun shy to pay him. And now that they have been so hesitant to get a deal done, maybe Lamar is just done there. Yeah, that's happened before. Yeah,
I thought you was about to say done, period. But
no, like done AFC, with them.
But I wouldn't be surprised about that because at this point, you took your only viable receiver away from him, Hollywood Brown.
Yeah.
That's like a slap in the face to a QB.
Especially because they were close off the field.
Exactly. And so, yeah, at this point, and that's one of the reasons why I thought he said, he's going to do what he does. And, so he's putting the ball in his court. He's betting on himself. And if they don't give him a contract by the end of the year, somebody will.